WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, Europe to be exact. And today I have the privilege of both of the new Waterford single farm additions to actually have here in front of me, and I want to show you and taste them and also review them together. So over here I have the single farm origin from Bannow Island edition 1.1, and over here I have the single farm origin Ballykilcavan edition 1.1. So first of all, it is a little bit of a glittery type of moment here. And there's a little bit of shiny things like the water breaking on the light breaking on the water. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out both of these bottles now, and that's going to be a surprise for some of us the way they look, because the bottles, first of all, are blue. Now, I would not have picked the glass cap, and I definitely would not have picked the yellow glass cap. But hey, that's the way things are. Mark Rene wanted to have it that way, and he gets what he wants. He's paying the bills. So let's move this over this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour these into the glass. I'm going to see what happens to them after a while because I want to go online. Now, this is actually here a glass topper with a nice little rubber type of seal. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of it or not, but it does seal very nicely. I have no idea if it will seal 100 times or 1,000 times or only 10 times, but I'm working on that. So I'm going to pour both of these and then show you something very, very I'm going to use the word kind of awesome. I do not use that word lightly. Now, on the back of this, we have something here. I'm going to go actually for this bottle first. We have here a code. And if you've ever had a Bruichladdich, you know there's always a code. And so he's going to use this code again. So what do we do with this code? We actually go here, and that's why I'm doing this the way I'm doing it. We're going to the website. The website is Waterford Whiskey. Very important, whiskey without the E. So the origins of the word whiskey are without the E. If you go back to the American, all the documentation, all the laws are written without the E. Scotland is without the E, and actually originally also in Ireland it was without the E. So we go to this nice little thing here called terroir. Terroir means the soil, the ground, the terrain that it's actually grown on. We know it from the wine world. So I'm going to type in my code, which is the same of all the bottles of this bottling. So you can actually read along if you want. Whoops, got the wrong... that should work. Enter code, and there we go. And the first thing I see is the farmer who grew this whiskey, which is kind of really cool. All right, so we know the farmer is Ed Harper. We know that his farm is on Bannow Island, I'm sorry. We know that it was harvested on the 7th of September 2015. It was distilled in the 25th week of 2016. This whiskey matured for 3 years, 7 months, and 27 days. 50% ABV, like always. Number of the bottles, 8,616. For Europe and Asia, sorry for all my American friends, you're getting different bottles. And this was released in June 2020. Now, I'm not a big fan of this map. I'll show you a different map in a moment, which is much, much better. So we have all the information here about he was actually one of the first 40 farmers who took up the challenge back then. You can actually play the sounds of the farm, so you have the waves in the background, very, very silent. And you can see that Ed has actually done 4 years of farming now for Waterford. And you can see the date it was sown. Sometimes it was later in the season, 2015, 16, 17, 18. And we can see the date that it was harvested as well. We see that 2018 was a fairly short harvest. So we have a picture. And then what I think is the timeline of a barley. So it was sown on the 23rd of March. It was harvested on the 7th of September. It arrived in the cathedral on the 8th of September. Mark Rene actually built or let someone build for him a cathedral. A cathedral is actually a big building in which there are boxes. And in these boxes, actually, you put the barley in there and you wait for it to come. It becomes its turn to be fermented. And so you can actually separate and keep all those different grains from from the different farms separated. And that is a major number one bottleneck of the entire process of grain to glass is that is the malting process. So it went to malting on the 7th of May, which means it was actually waiting almost 6, 7, 8 months to be malted. But then 3 days later, it arrived to the distillery. Fermentation began 4 weeks later, which is interesting. And then distillation, I've never seen this before yet, started on the 9th and continued until the 17th. Why they needed 8 days to distill this product of 8,000 bottles, I have no idea. All right, so it went to the warehouse 5 days later on the June 23rd, and then they actually married the cask. They vatted the cask. They put the cask together on the 7th of February this year, 2020, and it was actually sent to be bottled on the 2nd of June. So we actually let it have here March, April, May, June, about 4 months to be married. Good. This is Ed. Watch the video yourself. It's great. I showed that in another video. Now, this is actually the map that I like much better. So first of all, we can zoom out. So for everyone that knows Ireland, here's Dublin, here's Waterford, here's the Barrel Farm. And so we can zoom in here. We can see here the distillery in Waterford, there on the river. And over here, we actually have his farms. So I haven't seen this before either. So you can actually see the individual plots here that he uses, this one, as well as those two for our barley. Now, I'm not really sure, and this is what I think. He's been there for 4 years. So if I click on this, we can actually see where he's been. I'm not sure if that's for every year he's used the same plot or not. All right, but that's that. And what is really kind of cool is you can actually see the soil composition. So I'm not a soil geek, I'm not a but it still kind of fascinated me that they actually took pictures down to about so 80 centimeters down. So this is actually 1 meter 40 down. You can actually see the soil, a lot of sandiness there. So you can actually see all the soil. You can see it's 33 to 86 feet above sea level. You get about 6 to 6.5 hours of sunlight. Here you can see the overture. Barley was used. The use is always Maori standard. Always the production water is a volcanic aquifer that Waterford has access to below them. And the fermentation time is 136.2 hours, which is amazing. And then if that wasn't enough, they have the wood, which I think is fantastic. So we see here that we have premium French barrels, 200, 200, 200, 200. Oh, a little small one with 80, 97, and so on. These are actually from the Tonnelia des Dominis. So we can see actually when they're filled, and then we have here the American first fill. They were all Jack Daniels, and then you can see American Virgin, which was from the Speyside cooperage. I thought they were working with a Kelvin cooperage, but maybe back then in 16 they were still experimenting. And you can see here, and this is a little bit of my problem. Waterford, if you're listening, I'm confused. If you say vin du natural, that is for me a special type of fortified wine from France. Right? But then you write down here Ortolozo, which is not from me from France. It's from, of course, Jerez from Spain. So, could you be a little bit more specific what you mean with vin du natural? Because if I always think of the composition, which you say here, oh, look, 35% first fill, bourbon or Tennessee, U.S., very good. 20% virgin oak, excellent. 25% premium French. Why not? That's European oak. What was in it before? I don't know. Were they virgin? I don't know. And then you have vin du natural. And in this case, it's Oloroso, and that just doesn't make any sense. And for those of us that are a little bit wondering why 2 casks can actually make up 25% of the entire batch, those 2 casks had over 1,000 liters in them. And so that does make a interesting thing there. All right. Very, very, very good. So, Kevin, good to see you here. Very, very nice. Oh, great to see you. And also David, hello. So Waterford is a very nice thing. And I actually like here this bottle of that I just showed you from the Bannow. So this nose is just really, really nice. I'm getting Ortolozo, I'm getting raisins, I'm getting plums, I'm getting actually here. Oh, I can actually read you the notes here from the distillers. He says nose, malty, red roses. I'm not sure about that. Milk chocolate, well, maybe. Warm vanilla custard, maybe dried fruit, sweet, a perfumed elegance, bread and butter pudding and custard, walking through a freshly cut hay field. The taste? Mmm. Mmm. I like that. They say vibrant, exuberant. I hate tasting notes that are adjectives with no meaning. How is this exuberant and this isn't? It has no meaning whatsoever. White pepper, a little bit. Spicy, clove, mouth coating with a dried sweetness of salted caramel. Very nice. Malted biscuits, sherry, oily and dry finish. Mouth puckering. Not really. It's not that dry. I've had much drier whiskeys in my life. This is actually something that I can highly recommend. I really, really like it. A long, nice... Hubert, thank you for watching. A nice, light, nice finish. All right, cleanse the palate real quick. So we have a second journey to go on to the second distillery, which I also want to show you. I hope you are still interested because this still fascinates me without any... I'm still in awe of all the data points that they have here. All right, so we're going to go back here. We're going to go to terroir, and we're going to type in our message or our bottle number, our code here for the Ballykilcavan, and that is F002E01. Oops, I'm not typing in, so I didn't hit the button here. I'm sorry. F002E0101. So, and now we get to actually see the second farmer here. That's David, by the way. So David Welsh Kimmis. This was matured for 3 years, 11 months, and 18 days. Why they didn't wait for the extra 14 days or 13 days, I will never know. So harvested the 17th of August, distilled the 8th week of 2016. Only for Europe and Asia. Here we have 8,640 bottles. So once again, I do not like that map. That map is too blue for me, but that's fine. So we can also have the sounds of Ballykilcavan a little bit different. So we actually have here, if I play the sounds, I have a lot of birds and animals and so on. Nothing very, very fantastic. You can see the farm. You can see him actually being, the barley being harvested. We have the same thing here, sown on the 10th of March, 2015, harvested the 17th of August, arrived at the cathedral 1 day later, 18th, and then it was malted in January, no problem. On the 26th of January, it actually arrived at the distillery. Fermentation started on the 4th. Distillation started on the 9th of February, but then it was filled in the warehouse 29th of February. What happened on those 20 days? I really don't know. Was it in stainless steel containers? Was it in plastic containers? Where did you store the liquid until then? And then the 5th of February 2020, they actually married the casks and they sent it for bottling on the 3rd. Now, this is not the wife of David. This is actually one of the quality control experts here from Waterford. Very, very nice video. We're not going to talk about that. So once again, we have our nice little map here of Ireland. So we have Dublin here, we have the farm, and we have Waterford down here. So if we take a look at this, we can zoom in here. We can actually see his farm. You can see a lot of farmland in Ireland. Whoops, I lost my little dot here. And we can actually see the field here. They say we have the Ballykilcavan brewery. Did not know that. And here we actually see his field that was used. Fantastic. Here we have the soil, only about 50 centimeters deep, but still we have all that. Once again, we have a different variety of barley. That is the Tabanera. Interesting. I'm not an expert on that yet. Fermentation is 150.5 hours, which is long. Usually in Scotland, they're doing 96 hours. So this is actually a couple days longer. That's amazing. So what we have here actually would be the casks. So we now finally have our first fill from Kelvin Cooperage. That's very, very good. So we have a lot of those first fill. Now we have the Vin du Natural. We have a 400, a 400, and a 400 basically, and they were from the Tonnerie. Now what was in it? Was it the Vin du Natural? Was it a fortified wine from France? or what was in these casks would interest me. If you'd like to have another little column here in your table, that'd be great. So the premium French, you can see the different places where they came from. The Zigun, Buru, Nathalie, Société Nouvelle, Tonnerie Ramon, Zauri, Danajou. My French is terrible, sorry. And we can actually see the composition. There's only three things here at the moment. You had first fill, you had premium French, and you had 18% from the Vinu Natural. And at that time, the virgin oak was not available. All right, very, very interesting. So a lot of stuff going on here. Aaron, does seem like a long fermentation, wondering if they were waiting for a second bacterial fermentation. I'm going to ask Ed that one day because both of these were actually around the 150 mark. All right, Simon, good to see you here. And also ergonomist Grace O'Reilly, top class. All right, who knows, who knows. All right, so I'm going to actually nose the two of them. I love the Barrow, the Barrow Island. Bannow, I can't pronounce. Bannow Island. I'm going to have to learn up to 60 different farms with Waterford. The original 40, and since then I think they've used up to over 60. I think I have a number of 72 different farms so far. Now this, every time I get phosphor, I don't know where that comes from. I'm guessing it's from the VND casks, as they call them. And this is just not up my alley. I'm so sorry. This is actually a C- in my book. I've tasted this, I know, and this is a C+ in my book. I get floral. I get raisins. And I just can't get over the phosphor in here. All right, cheers. Oh, I want to try the good one first. If no one knows Marc Rene, he's the guy who did Brook Laddie back then. Unfortunately, he had to sell, not because he wanted to, but because his partners wanted to cash out. He was not a happy camper, so what did he do? He took his money and he bought from Guinness, which is Diageo, one of their breweries they closed. So Diageo actually had modernized 4 different breweries, and they were actually selling extract to different markets of the world for Guinness. So you'd actually condense it and then put more water in it someplace else, like in Africa and Asia and South America. And they had 4 different plants for that in Ireland, and they closed down that system totally. And so Jack Teeling bought one of the plants up there, which is now his Great Northern Distillery. Marc Rene bought one of the plants, which is Waterford. And what happened to the other 2, I have not found out. If anyone knows, I would be very interested to see what happened to those other 2 plants, what they're doing now. So Simon says, didn't manage to get either bottle, very jealous. Very jealous, haha. Now, you have a bottle in Ireland I haven't been able to get, so sorry, but we did here in Germany, Kirsch Import actually got a fair amount of the bottles, and they're still available in Germany. So if you really need to, Simon, find someone in Germany willing to send it back to Ireland, which is stupid, but I think that would work. I'm sure there'd be 1 or 2 different places you could look at. And if you're not sure where to find those places, you can Whiskey Base, and you can actually see all the shops here in Germany that actually offer it at the moment. And there's a lot, actually, all right? So I'm sure maybe one of those people would actually be willing or able to send it back to Ireland for you, because this is a piece of Irish whiskey history. All right. Very, very nice. C+, value for money is C-. €70 is a lot of money. Some people have actually been very evil and have said the bottle alone is €20. No, the bottle is €6, maybe €8. I don't know. But the spirit in there is much, is very, very good, especially if you consider the fact that it's 3 years old. What is also very interesting is this is a light beige, this is a light blue, and this is a light beige. So they actually do change the colors of the label according to the farm. Yeah, Simon, see, I didn't get it because I knew I wouldn't be in Ireland at that time. I was planned, I had an airplane ticket, I had everything booked the week before the pilgrimage was supposed to happen, and then COVID-19 happened and it kind of killed my life, yeah? All right. Yes, you would be definitely able to spot it at a bar. You're right. You're right. So, not a fan of this. Now, once again, Waterford, if you really, really wanted to prove terroir, you should have done this. You should have taken two different farms from the year 2015, distilled them in the same manner, same fermentation time, and put them in the same type of casks. Now, I can't tell the difference between the cask influence, or the Lozo and VDN, and the terroir, the barley influence. I can't, because I'm still going to say, and I do not think that Mark can really, really contradict me, up to 50% of what we taste. I'm going to change that. At least 50% of what we taste and 100% of the color comes from the wood we use. And so the wood is a major influence in what we have here as well. And I am a fan and I am a believer in terroir. I do believe that terroir makes a difference. But unfortunately, you picked two farms that are not in the same wood, and I really, really would have preferred that much better to prove your point. But hey, that's the way things are. All right, one last time. This is hotter. This is less to my liking. And as I said, that match strike, that phosphor moment is much prevalent, much more it's prevalent here and is not even here at all. And so if I were to pick one of these two, the Bannow Island would be actually my choice. Yay, I got that one right finally. This is a great thing. I'm not a fan of the bottles yet, but I'm sure they're going to grow on me. Not a big fan of the shiny type of glossy type of packaging. But hey, we need to stand out today in the market, so I guess that's actually right. So my question of the day is, do you believe in terroir? Terroir, yes, write down why. Terroir, no, write down why in whiskey. Now, we totally believe in it in wine. And the very, very interesting thing is Mark Renee is actually going to start a rum plant, a rum distillery, let's use that word instead, somewhere in the Caribbean to actually prove that rum can be influenced by terroir. So this guy is actually changing the scientific beliefs in the spirits industry, and I must commend him for that. Thank you very much, Mark, for all that. All right, yep. Two farms in the same wood would have been more precise. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Very, very good. Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of American. Feeling privileged to have tasted both of these initial bottlings. Thank you very much. I got my bottles here in Germany from www.irish-whiskies.de. Paid 69 euros 90 for each of them. Normal price over here. Thank you, Marika, for sending them. All the best. Whiskey Jason. Bye-bye.